Tracey L. Fisher. Welcome to A Reentry Point of View. We here with my guest today, Lawrence Bozzelli.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Fisher. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming. How you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Listen, you're an attorney, right?
Absolutely.
And you running for Common Pleas Court?
That's right.
Okay, tell my audience who you are and why you're running for Common Pleas Court.
So I've been a lawyer for almost 20 years, and for the better part of those 20 years, 11 years, I've been a criminal defense attorney. I started out as a prosecutor, but for the past 11 years, I've been working side by side with clients who've been accused of crimes. Whether it's taking it to trial, working out a plea, whatever is in their best interest. But I'm also connected to clients when they get back out and they're released from a sentence.
Wow. Now, how long have you been an attorney?
I've been an attorney for almost 20 years. 1999 is when I took the bar.
Wow. What schools you went to?
So, like yourself, I'm a Philly native. Never left. I was blessed to have a loving family. They sent me to Masterman, which is a public school, product of the public school system. From there, I went to Masterman. From Masterman, I went on to Central. Graduated Central, class of 251, 1992. First in my family, I went to the University of Pennsylvania. How, I don't know, but I got in. And now I'm at Temple. I went to Temple Law School, and then I started at the prosecutor's office for about 5 years.
So you worked in the prosecutor's office?
Yes.
So you was around all that mayhem?
I was around all the mayhem. And I was there with Lynn Abraham, you know.
Oh, the Iron General.
The Iron General. The
Yes,
cookie.
yes. She been on the show.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. I like her. I like her. She always fixing my collars every time she sees me. Yes. So, listen. Let me ask you this.
Yes.
You running for judge.
Right.
Why you want to be judge?
I want to be judge because having done this, having basically been in the courtroom every day for the past 18 years, you see qualities of great judges and judges who are not so good. Just their demeanor, how they treat people. People who have no attachment or no connection to the criminal process, which makes a huge difference. Like I tell people, the worst part of my job, what do you want to guess? You know the worst part of my job is?
Right.
Going to jail. I hate it. Going to jail to visit clients. It's depressing. I mean, some of these cases go on for months and years, and your clients open up to you, and they tell you, you know, look, this stuff's going on in the street, Larry. I can't handle it. Whether it's with my kid in school, my girl, my child's born, I feel like a chump. Because they're calling me up saying, this is going on, I can't do anything. So, by doing that and seeing that, some of these judges give out sentences like they're candy. They don't appreciate the weight of a sentence, how it affects the person, his family, the community. And there's just a handful of candidates running who actually have experience on both sides. Because people want safe neighborhoods too.
Right.
But to understand the weight of a sentence, there are a few candidates who have done the defense work.
Right.
And I think I would be fair and compassionate. You know, when you also see, I was walking to the courthouse and somebody shouted out, "Oh, Mr. Bozzelli." A friend of mine named Jake. Jake got out, and he got into one of the reentry programs. He started out as a janitor at the convention center. He said a lot of the guys he started with, in fact, all of them but him, quit. Whether they thought it was demeaning to be a janitor or they didn't see the end game,
Right.
he stuck with it. Got a job with the union. He's making good money per hour. He's looking to maybe go up to management, you know, and he's like, listen, things are good for me now. You know, somebody gave me a chance.
Right. Absolutely. So let me ask you this: you wake up,
Right?
and they say, Lawrence, which is, they call you Larry, but on
Right.
the voters thing it's Lawrence. Lawrence, you won. You are a judge. What do you do?
I think you have to check yourself every day. I think you can't get too much, you can't read your own press and believe your own press. You have to stay grounded, I think, number one. How you do that, you know, whether it's just through your own belief system, prayer, whatever. But you have to also judge every person who comes in front of you,
Right.
right, individually, and say to yourself, what sentence, if you have to give a sentence, is sufficient but not greater than necessary, right? And how can these people, because, listen, I think in America, everybody loves the comeback story. The person who's down, gets knocked down, but comes back.
Rocky all over again.
Rocky.
Rocky 6.
Right? Or wherever they're up to now. But, you know, people like that story. And it's the same thing with my clients, you know, who will stop me on the street. and they're like, look, I'm out of trouble.
Right.
I'm working for this state senator as an aide, or these great stories.
Yeah.
Because people gave them chances, and they looked past their criminal past, which is a great thing.
Well, speaking from ex-offender point of view, we do look for people to have compassion when we in front of them. We know what we really look for though, especially when we had that transformation, we have had that aha moment, and we ourselves has changed. We look for judges or someone like you to see that, not just see us as on a assembly line and just riding us through. Like, all right, next case. You got to understand, that's a human being in front of you,
Right.
saying, stick to the oath you took. That's where a lot of people go wrong at. And me representing 2.5 million people, that's what they want to know. Is these individuals going to stick to the oath that they have taken? Because right now, we're in the process of a political cleansing. Everybody that's in office now, when they come up, they're not safe. I don't care if you've been there for 20 years. That means you still been there for 20 years and there's poverty still in your community. You're not safe. This is a new movement, and you're new. So you have an opportunity to be a part of this movement and stick to your oath and do what's right. What do you think about that?
I think you are 100% right in the sense that you talk about being new, right? Coming into it fresh, coming into it with the ideas that you had before, right? Like I said, as a defense attorney, we practiced in federal court, New Jersey or Pennsylvania, and to not get into this rut and to remind yourself every day, listen, I got to judge people. I mean, I'll tell you about a month ago, I did this, I thought was a really passionate sentencing. And I was speaking, and I looked up at the judge, and I saw the judge looking at the clock on the wall. I had only been speaking for about 3 minutes or so. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? This isn't a judge who is really focused on what's important, looking at my argument, listening to that. And that's something that I hope always to take with me. And again, I think that doing the defense work, speaking to clients, their families. I mean, I could tell you stories you already know. One guy who has now got a little cleaning business going on was in federal court. I met his son. His son said, I probably saw my dad about 12 months out of my whole life because he kept getting in and out. You have to be compassionate. You have to look at everybody who comes in front of you as an individual. Right. And very few people who I've represented, what I say are evil men. Maybe 4 I can count in 11 years. Right. Most of them are normal people who made mistakes, whether they got laid off from work and they decided to do something to make some money to feed their family. Whether when I was in juvenile court, we used to get lists every day. How many of those kids came in with a family who said, I'm the mother and father and we live together? It's rare, And unfortunately, a lot of those kids don't have a chance, where I was blessed to have an intact family. You have to understand that. You have to, in my opinion, and recognize that and say to yourself, not everyone needs to go to jail. You can't be a warehouse for people, You want to have someone who's productive.
Absolutely.
Which is why your programs are so great.
Right. I appreciate that, because we just want the right people in. And the right person is the person that's going to do what's right all the time, regardless if he or she had a bad day.
Right.
That's all we looking for, right? And when you don't get that, it frustrates you. That's the reason why we created the voters block. That's the reason why I created a reentry point of view. That's the reason why I created Gateway to Reentry, because we have to become a voice. We have to, for those that don't have one. And for those that don't have one, when we become that voice and you being the judge, we're the voice speaking to you. So we looking for you to have that compassion that it takes to understand what is being said to you. We're not saying when we come in front of you, let us go. Because if we broke the law, we deserve to be punished. But to be punished, if we deserve a 1-year sentence and be given 10, now that's harsh. Now, to be taken out of your children's lives for a decade. See, this is what we're dealing with here. When you got people in jail doing on juvenile life. At 14, you comfortable with giving them natural life when they don't even develop their brain right until they're 25 to start making good decisions. And you don't even take that into consideration where you don't even give them a shot at coming home. A bounce back. That's what we call. I was given bounce back. I was given 300 months. But even though I was 22, 23 years old, I'm able to be here now. But what if I was given that 100 months that they wanted to give me? Thank you for my attorney, Penny Marshall.
Shout out.
Shout out to my attorney, Penny Marshall, because they wanted to really give me 100 years. And she fought and fought and fought and fought and got to 300 months. And this is doing sentencing after trial. Mm-hmm. After trial. So I went to trial and so forth, but you need them type advocates. Yeah. You need them type people to fight for you like that. You know, and then a judge that was compassionate enough to listen to what she was saying. He's a young man, you're trying to end him. You're trying to make sure he never see his grandchildren. This is her closing argument. This is her statement during sentencing. You're trying to tell this man he no longer exists. And that's what it takes. You think you had that?
Absolutely. I've been making arguments like that. Mm-hmm. That's a good one. I may steal that one.
You can have that one.
Thanks, Penny. Because that's the arguments I've been making for the past 10 years. Right? Because so many people are just people who are normal, who made bad choices. And to do that and to see that and to recognize that, you know, and speaking to people, because, you know, people open up to me, my clients, because I'm honest with them and they're honest with me. And I pray that I will carry that on as a judge, and I will never lose sight of that.
That's good. And you know what? I like your honesty, to be honest with you. I'm a very good judge of character. This is your first race, right?
Yes, sir.
And you've seen so much in this race, even from your counterparts, that you can't believe.
That's right.
You saying, wow, I didn't know you really was like that. But when it comes to fighting for a piece of meat, right, diplomacy and the calm and all that classiness goes out the window.
You doesn't have to.
That doesn't have, but this is the land we live in.
Right.
You have to understand that. You remember the saying, when in Rome, do as Rome?
Correct.
Right, but you don't have to. But when you don't do as Rome, you stick out. You stick out. Now, before that was a bad thing. Now this is a good thing because we the ones changing the rules now. We looking for those that stick out from not following the crowd. Right? And I sit around and I watch a lot of politicians. I know all of them. And if I don't know them, I meet them, you know, time. But anyway, I watch them. I go to the debates. I go to the candidates' nights. And I listen and I listen and I listen. And what happens is this. They tell a story, but they're not listening, taking into consideration the audience they're telling it to. You have people that's sitting in the middle, smack dead center of poverty. You have people that has their loved ones incarcerated, over sentence or whatever. When you in front of them, that's your language. Even when you go up on Chestnut Hill, you talk other stuff. But when you in the urban community and you want the urban community vote, you have to reach and talk about what ails them and then come up with a solution. And you know what we like the most? Pure honesty. I don't know much about y'all, but I would like to sit and learn so I can be effective in my ruling when it comes to dealing with y'all. Man, you get our vote every time. It's when you come in and try to move us and handle us like you would do in court, like we don't have any common sense whatsoever. And we'll sit there and be like, okay, all right. And then come the day to vote, we'll remember that moment. Mm-hmm. People never forget how you made them feel.
Never get the second chance to make the first impression.
Exactly. You understand?
Absolutely.
So I like you, so I'm just telling you that. Don't ever resort to what they do.
Right.
That's why they won't be around. That's why they won't be around. That's why. So you can tell us how to get in touch with you.
So my website is Boz for Judge, BOZZ for FOR Judge.com. It's got my cell phone on there. If anyone has any questions about anything, right? Because again, I do criminal defense work. As I'm running for judge, I'm happy to answer it. I never charge anybody to talk to them. Answer any questions I can, help them out however I can.
Cool. I appreciate that. And there you have it. I'm Tracey L. Fisher. This is a reentry point of view. Thank you.
Thank you, Papa J.